Hey there everybody, Groovy here, coming at you from the Grindhouse, and today we're going to be talking about the first episode of the newest MCU series to hit Disney+. That's right, baby. Today we're going to be talking about Moon Knight. Now, what did I think of this new series starring Oscar Isaacs as Stephen Grant / Mark Spector and Ethan Hawke as the villainous Arthur Harrow? Well, I have to say for this first episode, it's not too much going on, right? Like, I feel like most of the information that gets across in this first episode was easily condensed into that 2-minute trailer that they released a couple months back to promote the show. And we did a trailer reaction for that here on the channel, so you guys can go watch that. And maybe it's the fact that I had to cut that trailer up into the pieces and look at it so many times over and over again for hours. Like, I feel like this first episode is just a recap and I'm waiting for the actual story to get going, and that's one of my main problems with this episode. One of my other problems with this episode is the CGI in this episode looks bad. Like, they were smart at the end of the episode to mostly shadow that Anubis hound, because something tells me that if that thing was in harsh lighting conditions, it would probably look like one of the CGI monstrosities from the live-action Scooby-Doo movie. And I love that movie, but that's 15, 20-year-old CGI, so making an apt comparison between the two, not really the best look for a multi-million-dollar franchise, right? But they were smart there. Where they weren't smart was with the car chase scene, with the people falling out of the car, where the car is crashing, with even the ice cream cone that goes flying off the top of the car when they hit the brakes. Like, all of that just looked fake and rubbery to me, and I just wasn't buying it. Like, maybe it was bad green screen compositing, I don't know. Like, it just didn't look right. It was really drawing my attention away from the story. Maybe it was because it was set during a bright day and just the CGI didn't look that good, or maybe it's just my tendency to pick CGI car chase scenes apart after seeing Peninsula, because the CGI car chase scenes in that movie also pulled me out of that movie and I just hated them. So I don't know, maybe I'm judging this a little bit too harshly. As I said, I feel like the CGI in this doesn't really stack up. But where I do think that this episode was smart was that they condensed some of the elements of Moon Knight's various volumes and publication history, right, into one easily to digest kind of format or form, right? That's what the MCU does best, I feel, right? Like, it takes all of the best elements from the different versions of characters throughout their publication history and condenses it into something that works not only in a live action sense, but also something that works in a modern sense, in a real world, right? That's one of their strengths, and I feel like that would be kind of hard to argue with the MCU. But this episode is definitely smart because it brings us into the role of Steven. We're in Steven's shoes, and Steven doesn't know what's going on. Steven is walking into this as an unknown, even though the parts that he doesn't know are other parts of himself, and also just parts of the world around him that maybe he's not realizing, maybe these mystical things that have always been around him, and he's only now realizing it. We'll have to see how the story develops. But bringing us in as the audience with him as the journey, taking these first couple steps into this mystical world, or also this world where maybe he's stepping into himself and finding more about himself and finding out about his other personality, that's really the best route to go with it. And also by making Steven more of a nerdish gift shop kind of worker, that also draws comparisons away from if he was the billionaire playboy that he is in the comic books, which makes people just say, well, that's just Batman, like it's a Batman ripoff. So they're smart to go that route, and I don't really know how they're going to handle other personalities moving forward. Maybe they'll just keep it down to just Khonshu and to maybe just Stephen Grant and Mark Spector, or maybe they will introduce other personalities like Jake Lockley and whatnot and stuff like that. Maybe it'll get more complex. That's one of the issues I have. I feel like this is all just treading ground that I'd already seen, and I'm just waiting for the story to go through. This first episode just leaves me with a lot of questions. And also, this first episode doesn't give you that big of a step into the world, because I feel like the only characters that were in this episode are maybe Steven, right? Steven / Mark, Arthur, right? those are the only real named characters. Donna, his boss that he works with. I think those, aside from those 3 characters, that's the majority of the screen time, right? So I feel like a lot of the other characters in the supporting cast are going to be showing up probably in the 2nd episode. And also that makes sense when you go and look at the cast credits on IMDb, because there's 6 episodes and a lot of the main supporting cast members are only in 5 of the 6 episodes, and they're not in this one. So there you go. But I do think that this show has a lot of potential. As I said, I do like Oscar Isaac as an actor. I thought it was funny that they decided to go the route that with the alternate personalities, they even point out that he has a strange sounding accent, because it was probably something that was invented by his mind along with the Stephen Grant persona. But we'll have to see how that works out, because, as I said, this was an infuriatingly small slice of the story. And now I just want another taste. And that's usually a good sign, right? But other than that, did you watch this show? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. I'd like to hear from you. Other than that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you stay safe. Make sure you stay classy. But no matter what you do, make sure that you stay groovy, people. We outie. Bye-bye.